The Netherlands will reopen theatres, bars and restaurants, but with reduced hours as it eases its COVID-19 restrictions. Well, experts say that the Omicron variant, which is now the dominant strain in the country, has a less serious clinical picture than the Delta variant. Case numbers have been rising in the Netherlands with a 51% increase week on week. Well, reporting on the latest from Amsterdam is Fernand van Tetz. We can go over to her now live. Fernand, Mark Rutte made the announcement despite the fact that there's record COVID levels in the country. So what's the government's thinking behind this and how are people reacting to the announcement?
So the Prime Minister really said that he is testing the limits of what is possible due to high tensions and the distress signal that has been sent out over the past few days, as he called it. Now, he's referring to last week when we saw a huge protest by the cultural sector, which was very upset that things like hairdressers and manicurists had been allowed to reopen, but theatres and museums still had to remain closed. So you could get a manicure in the Van Gogh Museum, for example. Also, 30 mayors, including of the 4 biggest towns, published an open letter to the government saying they wanted a review of the entire corona policy, that they wanted the measures to be easy to explain to people. And on top of that, police also said they were having trouble enforcing the rules and were seeing an increasing number of house parties, particularly among the young. And we've also heard reports of how mental health has been affected by these closures continuing. So it seems like all those cries for help have paid off. The government actually putting the advice from its advisors beside it to close things at 8, stretching that to 10 p.m. despite those rising infections. Now, we did see a jump, like you said, but also what we've seen, just like in the rest of Europe, is that the number of people being hospitalized is not increasing as much. There has been a 20% increase of people being hospitalized over the past week, but they're not going to the intensive care units as often. And that is what is really crucial, because this lockdown started to ensure that the healthcare system would not be overwhelmed and to buy time for a booster campaign. Now, almost 56% of the Dutch population has received a booster shot, so we're getting there. But Omicron is now just spreading so quickly, but really the clinical picture looking different as in the rest of Europe, with countries everywhere else opening up. It was just too hard for the government to continue this lockdown. And people are really breathing a collective sigh of relief, I think, as they can head back to restaurants and cultural establishments as early as tomorrow.